right, so part three, these ones are more to your coaching people that
Yeah.
you've that's been coaching. We're just gonna it could get a bit techie. I'm just gonna say it from
Right.
now, it could get a bit techie depending on how it wants to go. But
Right.
what do you look for in a great coach?
What do I look for in a great coach? A great coach for me personally, or just a great coach in general?
Well, for you, for you yourself, what do you look for in a great coach?
I need a coach that cares about it as much as I do.
Okay.
It's really important to me. If I, so for example, coach, you know Malcolm Phillips, Coach
Yep.
Malcolm Phillips,
Yeah.
right? Coach Malcolm Phillips is the most calm guy I've ever met. Just chilled, like real relaxed nature about anything, but he is about it, and he's got a passion for the game, and that really sits well with me. I love coaches like P. I love coaches like Neo. I've seen John Moore throw a clipboard at someone before. Like I like that for me. I need you to reflect I need you to give a shit about this as much as I do, because if
Yeah.
you don't, I'm not going to listen to you, because it's not that I don't trust what you say. It's not that I don't think you've got better knowledge than me, but if me and you don't want this the same, then I can't get on board with it. That doesn't mean to say you have to be screaming and shouting and stuff, like I say with Malcolm Phillips, but I need you to, if I'm the only one on the coach driving home after a loss, even if it is to Warriors, even if it is on those tough games, I still expect to turn up. And I hate this talk before games where coaches are like, it's the Warriors, so we'll do what we can. Fuck
Ah.
that, bro. Like, we'll turn up to the Warriors and try and beat them,
Yeah.
because okay, it might be one in a million, but I'll take that over none in a million. And I can't get on board with that kind of, let's just do our best. No.
Yeah. I've heard that. So what coaches have you played with that you would you class as the great ones? Obviously, John Moore, I'm guessing P,
Yeah,
Neo. Has there been
yeah.
any others that you've just thought, yeah, I can get behind you. I'll run through a brick wall.
Malcolm Phillips, I'd run for a brick wall for that guy. Junior Hayden, I'd run for a brick wall for that guy, because they'd be right next to me running through this wall.
Ah,
So, Pete, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to keep going. We spoke about John and Neo and P and stuff, but all the coaches that I have got like this profound respect for would be the ones running through the wall next to you.
yeah,
Like or they've done it, in the past. So I, if coaches are not like that, and I appreciate there's different coaching styles, and it's something that I learned the season just gone. But I know what works for me,
yeah,
and I know what kind of player I am. I think the best coaches can reflect all of their players. And your personality is what that specific player or group of players needs. But for me personally, yeah, I don't need an arm around me. I need shouting out. I need, that's me. Like
okay,
if your coach is not trying to put a helmet on and dive on the field with you, then I'm not about that.
okay. So let's flip that question in reverse. What would you say that you will not want in a coach?
um, coaches that just, I don't know if this is the right attitude to have, and it's something. Maybe it's one of my flaws that you were asking me about earlier, but I don't see the point in playing this if we're not going to try and be the best we can at it.
Yeah,
And if we're not going to try and win, I know they say winning is not everything, but why are we doing this if not? So those coaches that turn up because if they weren't at football, they'd be in a pub on a Sunday, or the coaches that lose and are smiling and walking up the sideline like, better luck next time. Like I can't. That's never vibe with me. Never will vibe with me. Some players may take that on quite well, but I just don't see how anyone can look at someone like that and be like, you don't want this. Why should I want it? Why, if you're happy that we're losing, why am I going to read my playbook? Why am I going to get in the gym? Why am I going to kill myself to play this sport that we all love, but is kind of dangerous?
yeah.
If you don't care whether we win or lose, like what am I doing here? And I think that's a really bad trait to have in a coach. And I've never been like that. I don't think I'll ever be like that. Whether that's good or not,
Yeah.
that's you'd have to ask maybe some of the players I coached at KCR. They probably have to give you better feedback. But that's just I don't respect that at all.
Okay. So talking about the coaches that have said, "Oh, it's the Warriors. Let's just try get up there and just try put up on a good show, or better luck next time." Have you had that recently in any of your seasons playing?
Uh, no, um, no, not for a while. Certainly not from defensive coaches. Like I didn't have a lot to do with the offensive coaches and stuff at Exiles because I was a defensive player. Um, but I think I've not heard it. It happened in seasons before, and this whole try your best mentality and things like that. But luckily, I've not had it, which is why I was able to stay, especially not when kind of Neo came and Junior and these other coaches. And I think at Hornets, that will never be said ever by any of the coaches ever. They're more angry than we are, and that's why I like it there because there's no way those words would ever come out of a Hornets coach mouth.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. So, what is the best advice you've ever gained from a coach?
Ooh, the best advice I've ever gained from a coach. I don't know. I should have pre-thought about these. I should have pre-thought about these.
I didn't give you
I
the
think
question list.
I think the best advice that I ever got, or some of the best advice that's popped into my head, is that I don't know whether it's advice or really. It was just, winning is not guaranteed for any of us. Like, you can train harder than the next person, you can train longer than the next person, you can train, but sometimes it's just not your day, and you need to accept the fact that sometimes all you can do is I'm saying the best you can do because it sounds corny, but the outcome's never guaranteed, no matter what your prep is, how hard you work.
Yeah.
And all we can do is just keep getting after it. Like I think we're all our own worst critics. I think the best players are. I've never seen a good player that doesn't beat themselves up even if they play well sometimes. But I think we all need to. Sometimes you need to realise that it's just out of your hands. That doesn't mean you should accept it, or we should walk away and be like, oh, it's just one of those times. But sometimes it just isn't your day.
Yeah.
And I think that was always something that I needed because I don't take losing well. I don't take performing badly well. My wife will attest to that. I soak, and I'm not good about it. But sometimes you just got to wear it and tip your hat to the. Yeah, they teach you that whole comment taught me to be humble, and I think I learned that the past couple of seasons playing the Warriors and playing the Blitz. Sometimes you just need to humble yourself and think, I'm not good enough yet. Yeah. I need to get back and get after it, and we need to get better. And I'm not going to kid myself into thinking that I am.
Yeah. Okay. So, what would you say what's the worst advice you've heard, not actually received, but what's the worst advice you've ever heard from a coach give a player?
I heard a coach tell a player once that if you tackle with the crown of your head, it won't hurt your neck. That was quite bad. Which was just absolutely shocking. Like, just put your head into it and just tackle through your head, because if you can line your spine up or something, it's the strongest bone. I had to switch off and then speak to that player like, don't ever do that. I think the worst advice I've heard, I just keep harping back to the same thing. I think, I don't know if it's necessarily advice, but I think the worst thing a coach can do to a player is make excuses for their bad performances.
Yeah.
And I think that's the worst thing a player can do. So, when your coaches say to people, it wasn't you, it was something else. Or, and I appreciate I'm kind of contradicting myself in these, like, anything can happen thing. But, sometimes players need to be told, sometimes you need to say, players as a coach, you're not putting the work in, you're not where you need to be. You can be. Don't ever close the door on someone. Don't ever say you're never going to not get there. But you're not where you need to be. You're not where you need to be. You just need to work at it and keep pushing towards that.
Oh, okay. So that coach that told that player to lead with the crown of his head, is he still coaching?
Yeah. No. That was really early on. It wasn't Exiles or any player. I don't even know the guy's name. I was at a training camp. He's not about anymore. I don't remember seeing him too long after my rookie year. But yeah, he was. Even as a rookie, I thought that doesn't sound right to me at all. But yeah, he's gone. Thank God. But yeah, it was probably the worst. That was probably the worst advice I've ever heard anybody give.
Wow. Okay, that's That's quite disturbing. I'm not gonna deny it. That's a disturbing thing to hear someone tell a player. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I'm gonna throw you on the spot here. I do it with everyone, and I think you probably know what's coming. So I want you to give me your starting 11 offensive players that you've played
Ooh.
that you played with, and then we will do your starting defensive players. And you cannot put yourself in that list.
No. See, I'm not very good with this. Right. So let's start. Quarterback James Cook all day.
Okay.
All day. There's no other. He's a fantastic quarterback. Running backs, probably Amari Dan Excel. Let me think. Line,
Oh,
John Gabry.
okay.
John Gabry, Big V. Is this just I played with or that I know about at all?
That you played with, that you've known about. So you've got two back. So you've got a two back.
Got two back. Obviously, Ibs is going to be on that line. Ibs is a beast. I think Charles would probably be on the O line as well. I like Charles.
Wait, Charles Deole.
From Blitz.
CJ. Okay.
Excellent, yeah. I don't know. See, I'm not very good with players. So players I've played against, like I could probably tell you numbers and stuff. I think receivers, a guy called AJ Crab.
Okay.
AJ
Yeah.
Crab. AJ Crab was a baller. Who else? I don't know. There's a load to pick from. I might have to come back. I might have to come back to the offense.
All right.
And what defense as well?
All right. So let's go defense. And what formation do you want to play?
Let's play 4-3. Let's play 4-3.
Okay.
But this or 3-4. This is tough.
Yes, and this is why I love it, because
This is tough.
because no one ever thinks about it, and it depends on when I spring it on you. You're not thinking about anything like that. So, do you want to go 3-4 or 4-3?
Let's go 3-4.
Okay.
Let's go 3-4.
Okay.
Let's go. Line, I think I'd play Tom Cole as one end. Nose would be probably Kieran.
Oh.
The other end, maybe Phil Dewhurst. I played at Exiles. I feel he's like one of the most aggressive players that I played. He's a good player, a baller.
Okay.
Linebackers, obviously Tay, one edge rusher. I'll have Keaton on the other from Hornets or ex-Hornets. Miguel in the middle. Probably Emmanuel as well. Played at Exiles with Emmanuel.
Okay.
He's a baller. He's now at Bristol actually.
Yeah.
He's a player. Defensive backs. Probably Ian Whitehead. Nick Mayer, who played at Kent. He's done at East Kent.
Oh.
Trying to think of some other players now. I like Jamal Hayden. I think he's a good player. This is what I mean. This is why I'm really bad because I don't know the players. Unless they're O linemen, I have to scout them. I don't know who they are. And yeah, I'm not sure the last one.
Okay.
The last one's tough. But yeah, there or thereabouts. They're the players that I played with on defense anyway. I think that'd be a pretty good defense. But saying that, there's this is why it's tough because there's a bag of Hornets players that I probably want to put in there at some point as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know everyone's name. I'm still learning names.
All right. We're going back to the offense real quickly and to finish it off with the receivers.
Right. So AJ Crab, 100% would be my first pick. There's a player. Funny enough, see, I'm thinking Jordan from Hornets. Jordan is a clutch receiver.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm bad. There's a guy at Hornets, really nice guy. They call him Sunshine. He's got the best hands of any receiver I've ever seen.
Okay. So Sunshine finishes up the.
Sunshine finishes it off.
Okay.
Sunshine
Okay.
finishes it
Cool.
off.
So that, to be fair, that sounds like a strong team that you played with and that you know of. So that's decent. But in the questionnaire that I did send round, which I'm gonna end up stopping at some point, I asked you a question and you said yes to this. Now, I know it's probably going to get a bit techie right now, but who do you have bad blood in this sport with?
The Olympians.
Oh, is it literally?
No. So every time I've had things going, it's always been with them. Like, caveat to this, and this is important. There are some really good guys on the Olympians, like Victor. Jonathan Cobham is a baller, and I was thinking about putting him in that team as well. To be fair, there's a guy called Adam who's just played running back from KCL. But for me, this was a hard question to answer on the thing, because there was some stuff that happened recently that, again, is not my story to tell. That upset some coaches at Exiles, Malcolm Phillips and stuff. And man, I've got no love for the Olympians at all. Like, for me, I'm all about kind of growing the sport, being respectful and things like that. But I've got no, there's no love lost between me and those guys at all. Like, I don't have any love for that team whatsoever. Okay. And a lot of the players on it, I'm not about it.
Okay.
That's why I think that's there was a big ruckus with us and them at the end of last season. And I think that what started that is just kind of typical of a lot of their players, really, which was someone talking shit on social media, not to me, which is why it's not my story to tell, to someone, a linebacker on our team who's actually from there. He did what I think anyone would do, which is called the guy out face to face. And it started a big fight. And I just think, if you're going to call someone out on social media, then have the bottle to when they're standing in front of you, say the same thing. I've just got no love for them at all.
Okay. So, would you say that Olympians are one of the teams that you class as overrated, or are there other teams?
I think, see, overrated's hard, because I think there are certain teams that are trading on the success of past years.
Yes,
I do think Olympians are one of those teams. I think there's a lot of there've been a lot of success previously, and I think there's a bit of a transition in Britball at the minute, and a lot of teams are saying we're this and we're that, and they're not the teams that they were. I think that's clear. I don't like the Olympians, but I'm not one for, like I said, I've learnt my lesson from the social media thing, but it's clear to everybody, including them, that they're not the team that they were. They're struggling this year. It will happen to every team. At some point it may even happen to the Warriors. You can't stay on top forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of it is achievements of past players of past teams that are still being kind of touted about for clout. Now, whether that helps recruit, I've never had to recruit, so more power to you. But yeah, I do think they're one of the teams that are overrated. Yeah.
Okay. And are there any other teams that you would suggest that are?
I think there are a few northern teams. I think a few of the northern teams that are up there, and Tamworth and stuff, and their goal should be to compete and beat the Warriors. But I think a lot of them are of the opinion that they can, and I just don't think they can.
Okay.
I think we're all working towards that goal. I think the Blitz are the same. The Blitz, the Blitz are just further ahead of it than everybody else. I think when I had a message from a Blitz player a while ago saying, let's beat the Warriors. And I think that's a good mentality to have. But I don't think the Blitz are there yet. But I think they're probably closer than anybody in the country to achieving that goal.
Yeah.
And I really hope they do. But I think at the minute there's a lot of people that Tamworth possibly being one of them that think we can compete, and I just don't think they can.
Okay. So you mentioned social media, and that was something that I had just thought of. To be fair, I had just thought of it. So what are your thoughts on players that a team that you've gone and beaten, and then you find out that they've been sending messages saying, how the team that they got lucky, that we gave it to them, that we handed it to them. What do you feel about those? What do you feel about those type of players?
Trash. Like, if you got beat, you got beat. Like, so I'll be the first person to say that I did some growing up in the sport, and we talked about my social media thing from before.
Yeah.
So I include myself in this when I've done it. Okay, but you've got to grow up and grow out of it. If you've been beat, you've been beat.
Yeah.
And there's no point talking smack on social media to anybody if you've just got work. And this is a unique thing about this sport, and I think it's the worst thing about it. So I've been in situations where I've seen promoters speak to fighters, like what they do is before a fight, they put up an interview. You see it like on the big shows, but they do it on the smaller ones as well. And they'd say, like, right, Michael, what are you going to do to Lee Morgan? Well, I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Do it. In that situation, there is still less smack talk than there is in BAFA.
Yeah.
When they're trying to generate smack talk, there is still less smack talk than there is in BAFA. And I think a lot of players have got stuff to say. And yeah, if you've just been beat, you just wear it, well, hold the L and move on and try and get back. But just stay off the socials. Stay off socials if you've just taken an L. But likewise, if you've won, you know, celebrate it. Celebrate your teammates. They post pictures from the games, post pictures of whatever. I'm not saying that, but yeah, don't talk shit on social media if you've just got cane. Likewise, if Wembley beat us, they won't. But if they do, my social media will be dead. And I certainly won't be on there saying it was because of this or the rain or the refs or anything like that. You know, a win's a win. It is what it is.
Yeah, I completely agree. So what would you say apart from the social media stuff, what has sports done, like playing sports, doing the judo, the MMA, what has that done to change your life? What has it done to completely change your life?
Everything. Like, I'd probably be fat, undisciplined. You know, I think sport for all of us is. I mean, the thing is that we enjoy it, but especially the sport that we do and MMA and stuff. You know, you put on pads, you put on a helmet, and we go out and we take some hits and things like that. And you do it unless you love it. But we all get something from it, whether it's kind of discipline or motivation or a sense of pride. You know, it is BAFA. And people go, you know, it's only BAFA and it's only this and the other, but it's ours.
Yeah,
it's ours to be proud of. And if you win Brit Bowl, it's yours to be proud of. And you know, it gives us a focus and a goal. If I didn't have sport, bro, I don't know. I've always played sport, so it's hard to imagine what it's like to not have it. But I can't walk away from it because I can't walk away from competing because I love it. Like, you know, just having something to do and be and I don't know. It's tough for me to imagine what it'd be like, but I wouldn't be good. I wouldn't be in a good way at all.
Yeah. So how did that year where COVID took it away from us? How did you handle that year?
Probably not great. I think we all struggled. I had sort of family close and things like that. So with COVID, I know there were people that are a lot worse off than me. They had real bad times, and I had like people, you know, were in their flats for a year because they were scared to go out and getting food deliveries and stuff. I still got to see some people. So, but not being able to train was just frustrating. I think it, you know, drove my business crazy. I was driving myself crazy, and I think that's why I got annoyed when, you know, we had the COVID season. You know, and everyone says it doesn't mean anything. It did,
yeah.
Because we all got out and we all get to get back fit. And I don't care what anybody says; they were like, "It's not competitive." I remember how hard you guys played against us when we played. You know, Blitz didn't want to lose that game. I remember how hard the Warriors played, and you know, the only people that say that didn't mean anything were the people who didn't play.
Yeah,
because we all know how hard we worked to beat the next person, and all right, there was no promotions or relegations, but that's not the only reason we do this.
Yeah,
it's not the only reason we do this.
Yeah, that's fair. I will have to hold my hand up. I didn't play that year. Well, I didn't have a job, so I couldn't play that year, and don't have money. But I was saying stuff like that. I was like, to me, it didn't feel like there was any need for it. But obviously, I know a lot of people that I've spoken to, they were like, it was a lot. There was a lot that this did. That COVID season was definitely something that everyone needed, which I agree with. So how did you feel when BAFA did the COVID season and they said that no one else will be able to schedule any other games with any other teams and so on? What did you feel when the Olympians ended up having a game scheduled against Solent?
See, I'm trying to remember back. Didn't they cancel a game against Warriors to play against Solent?
Yeah, I believe that one of the teams they couldn't play, and then they ended up scheduling a game with Solent instead of playing the Warriors.
I I mean, to be honest with you, and this is me being 100% honest,
Yeah.
the argument that I had with that coach about being scared to play the Warriors
Yeah.
bounced straight back into my mind. But obviously, we'd moved on and we'd grown from there. So it is what it is. But I thought one, I was quite surprised that they'd reschedule the game because I don't know why they cancelled the Warriors. I don't know. I don't know whether it was trying to save players or not get players injured and stuff. But I did feel like maybe they'd underestimated Solent because I think Solent are probably the most Prem ready team to come into the Prem for a long, long time. I think they were much more Prem ready than we were when we came.
Yeah.
I think they like I say, we had a war against them. Otherwise, it would have been them coming up. But I don't know whether trading Warriors for Solent was as straightforward as maybe they thought it was going to be. If they were after an easy game, I don't know. But I do think, well, why not play? I don't understand the reasoning from it. I still can't understand the reasoning of it. I'm not going to speculate because I know a lot of their players, despite me not having a great love for the team, are about it. They're happy to play the Warriors and they want to compete like everybody else. So I don't know what the motivation was, but I did think, that if that's how they want to be. Playing the Warriors is always a learning experience anyway.
Yeah.
You just got to get better. And as far as I'm concerned, they've kind of just missed an opportunity to get out and try and get better.
Okay. So actually, this one I found quite interesting because not a lot of people have wives. And how did your wife feel about you picking up this sport? Did she do research into it? Like, you can get this injury. Does she worry every time you go and play?
Yeah. But what I did before this, I think this was, she was like, "Oh, you've got a helmet and pads and everything like that." Before, it's nothing. You're wearing shorts and getting kicked in the face. So I think with this, and to be fair, she made me laugh. I think once she realised that this was something I was taking seriously, I got a text from her one day saying about, what did she say? It was something about like some sort of fire zone blitz and this player and that player. And I thought, how the hell does she know? And basically what she'd done is just Googled a load of stuff to try and make out like she knew what she was talking about. But yeah, she worries, but I think she knows that if I was to sit here on a Sunday with nothing to do, I'd end up getting down and getting depressed and stuff like that. She knows it's just something I need to do, and she supports it. She uses the Sundays to come down and watch, man. She'll bring like a bottle of prosecco, and her and all the other girlfriends just sit there and just by the end of the game, man, they're all hammered, and I have to drive home anyway. So she makes the most of it.
Fair. And is she kind of happy that you're gonna be obviously stop playing soon, or is she like she wants you to carry on?
I think she wants me to carry on at something. I think she'd enjoy getting maybe this Sundays back.
Yeah.
Where we can do something and spend time together. But I think she knows that I can't not do anything. She was trying to she suggested us both taking up golf, which I don't know whether I'm there yet.
It's not bad.
She's very much she's pushing the coaching. I think she knows that I need to be doing something. There's only so many times we can play before you start to get too old and too broken, and it starts to become more risk than reward.
Yes.
But yeah, she's definitely pushing the coaching. Also, it gets me out of her hair, man. She can do what she wants and it's not having me bothering her.
That's fair. Okay, so before we obviously end part 3, what advice would you give to anyone that's trying to pick up this sport?
Find a good team, obviously, and it's just work. This sport is a learning curve steeper than most. You've got to be in the gym, and I think you'd also need to know where you want to be.
Yeah,
I think there's a real distinct difference in BAFA about players that play this sport. You've got Prem players that want to compete and want to win Brit Bowl, and some of them want to get to the NFL. That's what they're working towards. And you've got Div 2 teams that turn up for a Sunday and are just out. And you need to decide where you want to be before you come, and whether you're willing to commit to that level. And I think it's work. It is work to learn the sport, to learn the nuances, and to be in the gym and to learn the playbooks and stuff. It is hard work, but it's and what else are you going to do on a Sunday?
True. Well,
but yeah, it's just be willing to put the time in, I think.
Okay, that's fair.